Well, a lot happened before the video that News Channel 5 played. You know, a lot of torture went on. From like the third day is when I started having real bad anxiety and stuff. And they ended up putting me in holding in a dry cell with no water. And, you know, no toilet paper at one time, no feminine necessities, things like that. It was just, I mean, they took me to medical and catheterized me and kept trying, they ruined all my veins, kept trying to draw my blood. And
now, are you on anxiety medication? Like when you checked into the jail, you didn't check mental illness or anything like that?
Yes, I did. No, they knew. As a matter of fact, Putnam County took me to Summit in 2000 in a straitjacket. They knew that I had a, yes, because my dad came from Arkansas, didn't know what to do about it. My husband didn't know what to do about it. I had a mental breakdown when, you know, from stress back then. And yes, they knew I was being treated at a mental health facility.
Wow. Now, was it, because some people would write that off and say, well, maybe she just had a drug problem or something.
No, I had been on them since 2000, just taking them as prescribed.
What's that? Taking what? Some sort of
Xanax and just some like Visceral, which is like Benadryl to sleep at night, is all I really needed for anxiety. But I can't handle the stress like that they put me under. And I mean, I just felt like they started egging it on. And I mean, a lot of it, I don't remember though, the day of the videos that News Channel 5 had. But I remember a lot of things before that.
Yeah. Now, when they're tasing you in that cell, you know, unfortunately, you just have on your underwear and, you know, a lot is going on. Do you remember?
Well, that was some fishnet underwear that they had given me, but, you know, they didn't have a medical staff there trying to give me a gown or anything. No, I do not remember that. But I do remember blood because they wouldn't give me feminine products or toilet paper. So why my clothes were off, I don't know, but they wouldn't let me take a shower, which I didn't know where the shower was, and one person offered me a shower, and then I opened my towel, and I was like, what kind of drugs are y'all trying to set me up with? And I wasn't on any drugs. They did all kinds of drug tests. I submitted my medical records. They took me to Cookeville Regional, tested for all kinds of drugs. Only thing in me was, you know, what I was prescribed.
Yeah. Were you scared? Were you, you know, why do you think you weren't complying? They were saying...
Well, the lady at Moccasin Bend said that 10 days after you go off Xanax, you will go crazy. I don't remember that day, so I can't really say. I know I was exhausted, and, you know, I was in some type of psychosis, obviously.
Yeah. What do you think about when you look at that video and see how they were tasing you?
I don't remember that day, so thankfully I do not remember the pain. But it looks like from the video it hurt.
What do you think? Is that disturbing to you when you see that video?
Well, of course, but I've talked about it, and I've talked about it, and I've seen it. I've talked to my lawyer in Nashville about it so many times. But I went to the first settlement hearing instead of taking it to federal court. I just went to the Putnam County Courthouse, settled at the first settlement hearing. You know.
Just to get it behind you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think needs to happen about, you know, them and using tasers and how they treat people, or what, you know?
Well,
what do you hope
people who are on some kind of medicine that can kill them going off of it, you know. Plus, I had my heart checked out. If they would have looked into that, I had stenosis of the valve. And I would have never called News Channel 5 if I hadn't heard about the man dying, and I saw his wife like at 4 a.m. say, I asked them not to tase him, and I told him he had a heart condition, and they tased him, they put him in handcuffs, and he was dead by the time the ambulance got there, you know. So I thought, they didn't learn anything by me suing him. You know, that's when I started calling News Channel 5 saying, you know, I just can't believe this.
Yeah. What do you hope happens from here on out?
Well, I don't see how they can take people off medicine like that, which I was only there 60 days, never even went to court. Thank goodness I have a local attorney that helps me, and he talked to the judge and the DA and got me out.
What do you hope they learn about tasers?
They should wean people off their medicine, first of all, so they don't have a mental breakdown, because I wasn't there, and a whole bunch happened before the video that y'all saw. But about the tasers, I mean, they were trying to kill me is what I thought. I thought they were real guns. I mean, it looks like they were straight up trying to kill me. They wouldn't tell my husband anything. He didn't know where I was for 10 days. I've been married for 20 years, and they would not tell him anything. My 18-year-old daughter was throwing up, didn't know where her mother was, didn't find out where I was till they showed up for court and told my attorney, she's in Moccasin Bend, they had taken me to Moccasin Bend the night before court, that Sunday night.
Let me ask you now,
and I was bruised. I don't know if y'all saw the bruises, but I was just black because they just kept taking me down on the floor and beating me and beating me and beating me.
Wow. Now, you do have a long criminal history, like you've been arrested
for driving on revoke
a number of times. What do you say to that? People say, well, this is a lady who has a long criminal history.
You know what I was on probation for? Flipping my own car, reckless endangerment. No one was involved in the accident but me. I've never had a DUI or a drug charge. I do not get out and, drive intoxicated or anything like that.
Now they
I have
for DUI, driving on a revoke.
But I was proven not guilty. I had a mini stroke and flipped my Mercedes on 111.
Wow. Now what about?
I was never found guilty of a DUI.
Mm-hmm. Now what about some charges for child
There was
abuse,
driving on revoke.
Check fraud, those kinds of
There
things?
was never check fraud. Worthless checks that were paid off. Never a felony check. No check fraud. Nothing. Serious thing was driving on revoke. I got my driver's license back, showed my license, and it was dropped to driving with no driver's license, and I paid,
So you think clearly they overreacted?
But I have no idea where you got your information about check fraud and all this, but no. And there was never child abuse.
Mm-hmm. Well, those are some of the arrest things that they have on file, And did you spend 2 years in prison for something?
I've never been to prison, no.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So do you think they used excessive force on you? When you look
Yes, I do. I sure do, definitely.
Okay. All right, I think that's good.
But, I'm not trying to get anything out of this, but maybe save someone's life, that's it, I just don't want to see them tase someone to death.